Thank you, everybody, for coming to another beautiful Trump Tuesday, which, once again, if any of you are thinking, why do we do this outside of Perseverance Park? We do this outside of Perseverance Park to show how important these issues are to people, to show that even if it's cold, even if it's snowing, even if it's raining, we're going to persevere here at Perseverance Park, which is in the center of the city of Syracuse, which not so many years ago, Abraham Lincoln's train drove right by. And what a great way to remember how our country has gone through a lot of changes and struggles over its history. But because we have held true to our values, we have always ended up in the right place. As Martin Luther King has said, the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards progress. But the reason it bends towards progress is because people like you put your shoulder into that arc and make sure that as we progress as a country, that we hold true to our values. And right now we find ourselves and our values under assault. Just yesterday, President Trump, by himself apparently, signed the second executive order, which was meant to kind of clean up the mess that was the first executive order that was banning people from 7 countries. He, quote, cleaned it up to now ban people from 6 countries from coming into this country. We believe that it is an unconstitutional ban because it is aimed primarily at Muslims. And banning somebody based on their religion is un-American, it's unconstitutional, and we won't stand for it. In addition to which, the city of Syracuse is a city that has historically gotten most of its strength from the strength of immigrants and new Americans. And we are here, many of us are here because 3 and 4 and 5 generations ago, our ancestors took that huge risk to get on a boat and to come across the ocean in search of a better life. A place where, in the case of my family, where they could worship a God that they weren't allowed to worship in Ireland, that they could learn to read and write, and that a country would welcome them to raise their family in peace. They took humongous, unbelievable risks, left behind their families and their friends and all that they knew on the hope that their generations in the future would have a better life. And indeed, because of what this country offered, they have been able to provide that for my family and for many of us. Today we face the same question that many Americans faced hundreds of years ago. Are we going to be scared of people who are different? Are we going to ban people because of their religion or where they come from? Are we going to be driven by fear, or are we going to let a government make policy because of fear? We are here today to say that we will not do that. And also to say, once again, that these are not strangers, that these are not people who are unknown to us, that the people who are impacted by these policies are Syracusans, they are our neighbors, they shop at our stores, they go to our schools, they live with us, and some of their families are in places now where it's going to be extremely difficult for them to come and be part of our country. So today we're going to hear from 2 people who are going to talk firsthand about how this ban has impacted them and the people that they care about and the work that they do. So first, let me introduce Mark Cass, who does a tremendous amount of work with new Americans and refugees, to talk about his experience and what's happening because of this.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. On behalf of the board, the staff, volunteers, and families of the Northside Learning Center, I bring greetings and thanks to our mayor for inviting us here today. Our founder and president, Yusuf Sol, sends his best wishes and had hoped to be able to join us today. But he too expresses his appreciation for this positive response from the community. As we face these challenges, there are some silver linings. We've had a lot of support from a whole range of places. And you know, our primary goal at the Northside Learning Center is teaching English language to adults, and in order to do that, serving the children of those families as well. Education is at the heart of it, but we do much more than that and get called on really as a type of a community resource for new Americans. As the mayor mentioned, the president's new executive order might be cleaner, a tiny bit cleaner from a legal standpoint, but in my view, in our view, is just as un-American. In the words of Bishop Cunningham of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Syracuse last month, un-Christian and in violation of our Constitution. So the impacts that we're seeing, most of the folks who come to
Now you're just have to speak
yeah,
from
that's
the heart
right.
now, Mark.
are refugees. So they do in fact have legal status here, have documentation, and no, I'm good. Thank you. So you know, that maybe gives the perception of a leg up, but many of our families have been impacted. Visits from family and relatives have been interrupted. Many have concerns about family back home. And one of the other positive outcomes was the Volunteer Lawyers Project, in collaboration with Legal Services of Central New York, offered to do free immigration legal consultations. And my initial thought was that would be, you know, a wave early. People want to understand what the executive order means and what those rights are. We haven't even made it through the first wave of those. And the new order, I'm sure, will be asking people to come back and get free legal consultations in order to further understand the implications for their family. I know we're going to hear from Khadijah shortly, even more specifically, you know, about that. This is also an anti-Muslim stance. People may know Northside Learning Center is located in the former Holy Trinity School on Park Street. Just across the parking lot from us is a newly formed mosque, the Mosque of Jesus, Son of Mary. A beautiful, meeting a strong need in the community, transformation of that part of Park Street. But obviously we're very concerned about what this type of action and rhetoric coming out of D.C. does to people. 75% of the world's refugees are Muslim. That's reflected here. And certainly these actions are causing a lot of angst and fear and worry among the families that we serve. So once again, I just want to acknowledge the mayor. Senator Dave Valesky has been quite active. So as I see these things happen, you know, on reflection, I'm grateful that I live in Central New York. I'm grateful that I live in the city of Syracuse, and that there's so many people like you who are willing to stand up. And so I just encourage you all to continue to show up here, show up everywhere. We got from 7 to 6. If we keep speaking, we can get it from 6 to 0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next speaker, Khadijah, I met when she came into my office, I don't know, was it 6 months ago or so? 6 months ago, with a group of young women talking about empowerment and how women could be more involved in their communities and have a voice and how to get active. And I was thrilled to meet with her and the young women that she brought, because it's been my personal experience that the more people you bring into our community and government and the more you empower people, the better our public policy is. And little did we know at that time that Khadijah's voice and leadership would be called upon to speak to much larger issues than just empowerment of the young people in our community, but to speak on the issues of what it means to people who are being scapegoated and generalized and frankly are being treated with very un-American values. So I am thrilled that she's here today to speak on her personal experience, and just really thrilled that she's part of our community and exercising her voice to be part of the leadership of this community that makes sure that our country and community goes in the right direction. So Khadijah, please.
So my name is Khadijah, as the mayor has expressed, and thank you so much. That meant a lot. And I'm a student at Syracuse University currently studying international relations. I came to the United States in 2009, and I couldn't speak a word of English. North Carolina Center, Hope Print, Refugee Resettlement Agencies, every single agency that exists in Syracuse, I have attended every single one of them seeking for service. If I can't find it here, then I will find it the other one. If I can't find it there, then there's another service that's available that is functioning. And today it's very sad to, as a refugee, personally, I have never seen Somalia myself. And identifying me as a Somali, I just don't know who I am in reality, because if you were born in a camp, in a refugee camp in Kenya, and you came to the United States, in that camp, I have experienced a lot, which I wish nobody ever has that experience, because it's not a pretty one.
When your voice is a little soft, we're going to amplify it. Just plug that in. Go ahead. What you have to say is important.
So I spent 15 years of my life in a refugee camp. I came to the United States in 2009. I started Nottingham High School. No English at all. I remember my first class learning ABC, the alphabet. Today, studying international relations, and what inspires me to do the work I do is because of my experience. And with the women's empowerment, when I was starting out, it was I'm the only Somali refugee, maybe two more Somalis in Syracuse University. And a lot of, I see when I come to there's a different world, being in the Syracuse University and coming to the refugee community and helping and serving and working with North Carolina Center and the mosque, and so much negativity in the news. It's terrifying, and especially when you're seeking for education and empowering others, helping them vote, and it's like you practicing your rights and your value, and you take advantage of any resources that's available to you. Even currently, for my spring break, I got an opportunity to go to New York City to visit companies that are like Facebook, Google, and all these resources available. I know I wouldn't have that opportunity to do what I am doing. And I know that Syracuse University didn't look at me and said, "You're Somali, you're a refugee, you're a Muslim, and we can't take you to New York City for this trip." And I think it's all about and thank you very much. It's all about knowing that we are all human beings, and that if we stand up together and we support one another, we'll achieve goals that will make things that are impossible possible. And thank you so much for being here tonight. I truly appreciate it, and I'm really like, I do a lot of work with the community, but I was never the person that stands in front of people and talk to people and tell them what it means, what's going on. I will always say, okay, let's do something about it instead of talking about it, because if you keep talking about it, nothing is ever gonna get it done. And I don't need to be publicized, or I don't need to be, oh my God, I have done so and show it to the whole world, because it's not about that. If you can make one person's life better, you have done tremendous job that you can ever imagine that you could have ever possibly do it. And that was always my goal and my aim, and working so hard, studying and doing everything I can possibly do with the community or outside the community is just that it's very overwhelming. And not going to my own country, which is Somalia, that I have never been to. Now I was watching CNN and looking at it, how the famine and the hunger, they're dying because they do not have food. Simple as that. Syrians are dying every single day. A kid that's like you might be like the age of your child is in the middle of this horrific, and some of them are orphans. They lost their parents. And it's like, just imagine if I was hurt and I knock into your door and I said, "Can you please let me in? I need food, I need this, or I'm bleeding. Can you please take me to the doctor?" Would you shut your door on me?
No.
The answer is no. And not a human being that is alive would ever do that. But that's the reality that we are facing today, and that it's true, it's not unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional at all, because there's lives that are being affected. And also with the ban just right now, I also said this in the airport, and I didn't clarify it or didn't say it so much because I was emotionally disturbed in the fact that I never expected my family to be affected or whatever he said will come into a reality in less than a week, because I was like, okay, now I was terrified the fact that he got elected while he had demonized all this and marginalized most of us, and at the same time, immediately after, in 1 week, my uncle was gonna fly in January 30th, and my aunt the same on February 14th, and now until now the flight is suspended because they're Somalian. They haven't been to Somalia. Most of their children haven't been to Somalia. They lived in Kenya for 25 years. Not a single crime that they can prove it to them that they have done anything to Kenyan citizens in that country that they have resettled in 25 years. My family, I'm a citizen in the United States for less than 7 years. I'm studying international relations, graduating in 2018. It's like nobody can ever do that, especially when you have all these barriers blocking you. And that's why with the women's empowerment, I want them to understand that no matter who you are, no matter what barriers are coming along, whatever challenges you go through, every single one, they will go through the same, even similar. If you're going through with cultural barriers, religious barriers, or these barriers, other people are also going similar barriers, but still overcome it. And that should not stop you pursuing your career, pursuing whatever your goal is, because the only way you can change this world is by educating yourself, by empowering others, by helping one another, not criticizing one another and looking at the other person and like, oh, she's from there, or this is her religion, this is her culture, this is what she believes. Instead of criticizing and generalizing something, ask, communicate, help, learn, educate yourself, and empower others. And that's the only way that we can moving forward. And my family is personally affected by this executive order, and I hope that they will manage to make it. And I also want to make one comment, and completely different than this. I really do appreciate Ms. Mayor for being here today. And Tuesday, every single Tuesday, with her busy schedule, she's standing right here every day with us. And this is a tremendous job. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that, and that's why even though I have class at 2 o'clock, I still waited to come to speak with you, to speak to you. And when this happened, immediately I wasn't sure what to do. So I contacted all the offices that I can think of. I contacted John Kako's office. I contacted Senator Gillibrand. Senator Gillibrand at least responded, but John Kako, I met with him personally. I was published on news, but my family is still, they're suspended, still there. And I don't know what's going on, but I hope that all offices that exist, that claim to help the people, that claim that they're here for us, to support us with every issue and anything that comes along, and I hope that they will do something about it. And thank you so much, and I truly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Khadija. There can be no more powerful statement than what she just said. Imagine, if you will, if any of us had to uproot ourselves and go to Somalia, and in the 9 years that you were there, you learned a different language, and then you started going to college there, and you were told that you were part of their community, and then they said to you, your family can't come. You can't be reunited. It's unthinkable for us. It should continue to be unthinkable. And that's why I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm glad that we're here every Tuesday. Let me just give you a little postscript here. There are those of us who have been raised in this country and have had the benefit of being romantic about our history, of thinking that we will always move towards a more perfect union, as it says in the preamble of the Constitution, and that march will be inevitable. We need to remember our history a little bit better. There is nothing inevitable about our march towards a more perfect union. When that language was written in the Constitution, it was written after the American Revolution and before the Civil War, and there were many things that we had to do. When Martin Luther King talked about the arc of history is long, but it bends towards progress, there were lunch counters that had to be sit in. There were marches, bloody marches across Selma. There were Bull Connor's dogs that needed to be faced. When women met in Seneca Falls, there was illegal for them to speak in public, and they were property of their fathers and then their husbands. There's a lot that we have to do to make sure that we get to the more perfect union that we all believe in. But it all starts with this. It starts with speaking with your voice, as Khadijah has done. It continues with getting together and continuing to be a witness to these things. So remember that if you get frustrated, because you shouldn't get frustrated, but if you do, remember that as we have lurched towards progress, it has taken the voices of many Americans over and over again in the face of great odds and not knowing if they were going to succeed, but being fueled by the fact that it almost doesn't matter because the battle itself is what we're standing up for. The values themselves is what we're standing up for. So we will get there eventually, but take heart. Don't think it's going to happen quickly, and take heart that you will be part of, once again, the great American experience of marching towards a more perfect union. So thank you all.
Right.
The media may want to meet with you guys. That's normally what they do.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Yeah.
My name is Duja Mamlouk. I'm a professor of Arabic and French at the college. I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit about the needs of your learning center. I was just at the mosque this morning, actually,
Okay.
with my friend.
That's a great question.
So what are the, I know that Ellie Abraham is starting a tutoring program, but could you tell us what is it that you need?
Northside Learning Center is a volunteer-driven organization, so we certainly do need volunteers, and volunteers who speak Arabic are in even higher demand at the moment with Syrians arriving. We're a small grassroots nonprofit organization, so we need all kinds of resources, money, materials, books, and we're really poised to grow. So we also need relationships, solidarity. So I know that the mosque as well is inviting people to attend services, be with, get to know people. So I think those would be the key pieces in terms of our work.
Thank you.
Is there an online menu where people can see online somewhere?
There's not a great list online, but our website will have that shortly. So northsidelearning.org. No spaces, one word. northsidelearning.org would be a good place to start.
Do you need, for example, students? I have, for instance, a service learning component.
Yes.
Next semester, my courses. Would you need people besides tutoring in English, but do you need someone, for example, to help you with the website? Do you need someone who's good with technology?
And any and all of the above, and I would think Khadijah with women's empowerment would have very similar needs as well. So
Do you have an NGO, Khadijah?
No, we haven't. We haven't started a 501c or any. It was more before. It was more of like, as a community, let's come together as a leader. So we are role models, and we're doing so much in the community. How do we organize it? And now we are forming a 501c3, and we haven't started. We don't have a website or anything. I usually post stuff on Facebook. Like I am friend with everyone that I know. Please, I will. I certainly will. So I'll add you, and then everything that goes on, I always post it, even the notes, even the meetings, if it changes the place of the meeting, anything like that, I usually do.
Because my idea is that I'm meeting with several of the women tomorrow at the mosque, hopefully. And we need an NGO where they can offer the services with the skills that they bring.
Okay.
So cooking, landscaping.
Oh yeah.
What else are we thinking about? Cleaning services. And I just moved here from Knoxville, Tennessee. I was a professor at the University of Tennessee, and the local church did that there, and it helped the refugees enormously. And since you are interested in empowering the women, I think the best case that we can come up with would be to actually give them jobs. And
Okay,
to
yeah,
use their
absolutely.
skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Job is a
if
tremendous
there's a
need.
seamstress, tweening, and they could use the 401. I know that we need legally to have a 501. So
Yes.
you've done that already.
Yes, the paperwork is in. We're just waiting for it.
Thank you.
yes, yeah, thank you.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much, and I want just to share with you all, I noticed that when Khadijah started speaking, it stopped raining.
The sun's even
So she
out.
has some power that she doesn't even know about. So thank you all very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay
All
in
right,
touch.
no, we will. Hi, how are you?